Three ancient deities didn't invade Israel with armies or conquer them from afar. Instead, they slipped inside, quietly generation by generation, until the God of Israel did the unthinkable. He didn't unleash a plague, flood the land, or rain fire from the sky. He simply departed. These three, Baal, Asherah, and Molech, turned faith into a deal, gave the Almighty a partner he never wanted, and demanded the unthinkable price, burning innocent children alive while drums masked their cries. This is the tragic tale of how Israel drifted so far that their God walked away. And by the end, you'll see why the story still echoes today. When Joshua guided the Israelites across the Jordan around 1400 BC, they stepped into unfamiliar territory. For 4 decades in the desert, God had supplied everything: daily manna, water gushing from rocks, clothes that never wore out. No one had planted crops or anxiously watched the skies for rain. Then they entered Canaan. The manna vanished the day after they tasted the new land's produce. Suddenly, survival depended on unpredictable weather. A single dry season could spell famine. Canaan's religion wasn't mystical or abstract. It was practical economics. Their gods promised results in exchange for rituals. Baal controlled storms and rain. Asherah ensured fertility and abundant families. Worship wasn't devotion, it was a contract. Pay the premium in offerings or worse. And the gods delivered crops, children, prosperity. The Israelites didn't outright reject Yahweh. The book of Judges shows they tried serving both, keeping Yahweh's festivals and priests while hedging their bets with local hilltop shrines. It felt logical, insurance against drought, but spiritually it was poison. This pattern repeated in cycles: loyalty, compromise, full idolatry, enemy oppression, divine rescue, then back to loyalty. Each loop dug deeper. Baal, the storm god and prosperity deal. Baal tops the list of foreign gods named in scripture, over 90 mentions. His title meant lord or master, but in Canaan he ruled storms, lightning, and clouds. In a farming society, he wasn't optional, he was essential. Baal worship was the original prosperity teaching. Follow the rites, build the altars, and rain follows. Crops flourish. Families eat. For generations it stayed small scale, rural shrines, local priests. Then everything shifted in 874 BC. King Ahab married Jezebel, princess of Sidon. This wasn't just diplomacy, it was a religious takeover. Jezebel imported 450 prophets of Baal and 400 of Asherah, all state-funded. She built a Baal temple in Samaria and hunted down Yahweh's prophets. Baal went from tolerated folk practice to official state religion. Enter Elijah, a rugged prophet from Gilead with no fancy credentials. He declared, "No rain except by my word." 3.5 years of drought devastated the land. Baal, the rainbringer, stayed silent. The showdown came on Mount Carmel. 2 altars, 2 bulls. The God who answered with fire was true. Baal's 450 prophets danced, shouted, slashed themselves from morning to evening. Nothing. Elijah rebuilt Yahweh's altar with 12 stones, 1 per tribe, doused the sacrifice with water until it overflowed a trench, and prayed simply. Fire fell instantly, consuming sacrifice, wood, stones, dust, even the water. The people cried, "The Lord, He is God." Baal's prophets were captured. Rain returned that night. Yet, heartbreakingly, within a single generation, Baal worship revived. Shrines rebuilt. Altars restored. Archaeology shows it lingered for another century. Miracles fade. The pull of the transaction endures. Baal was bold, public, dramatic, on hilltops under open skies. Asherah, the goddess who moved indoors. Asherah worked differently. The Canaanite mother goddess of fertility, sexuality, motherhood, and life. Where Baal thundered, she nurtured. She appeared as wooden poles, Asherah poles, stylized trees, or small clay figurines of women holding their breasts. Thousands unearthed in Israelite homes, not just temples. Jeremiah paints a vivid family scene. Jeremiah 7 verse 18: children collect wood, fathers light fires, mothers bake cakes for the Queen of Heaven. It wasn't secret rebellion. It was everyday family routine. Figurines turned up in kitchens and storage rooms, faith absorbed as normal, passed down like recipes. In the 1970s, at Kuntalat Adrud, around 800 BC, inscriptions read, "I bless you by Yahweh of Samaria and his Asherah." Israelites, people who knew Yahweh, called her his Asherah. Not a rival, but Yahweh's consort. He handled the covenant in heavens. She handled wombs, births, family blessings. They didn't ditch God, they improved him with a wife, making him more approachable, less demanding. The lowest point, King Manasseh, 55-year reign, placed an Asherah carving in the Holy of Holies, the innermost sanctuary holding only the ark, where God's presence dwelt. For 55 years, the high priest entered once yearly on Yom Kippur, bells on his robe signaling life, passing an idol in the most sacred spot on earth. God didn't destroy the place. No lightning. The temple stood. Sacrifices continued. But the holy shared space with a falsehood. Baal offered wealth. Asherah offered comfort and family security. Everyone did it. Neighbors, kids, kings, even state-backed. Would you have resisted? Too few did. And that led to the darkest part. Molech, the horror of child sacrifice. No one reaches Molech without Baal first. If worship is transactional, Molech demanded the ultimate payment. Human children burned alive. In the valley of Hinnom, Topheth, parents offered sons and daughters to Molech. Drums pounded to drown screams. Kings like Ez burned their own children there. This wasn't fringe, it became normalized horror. After exile, the valley turned into Jerusalem's burning trash dump, smoldering constantly. In Greek, Gehenna. When Jesus described hell, unquenchable fire, he used that valley's name. The site of Israel's deepest shame became the symbol of final separation from God. Ezekiel saw it. God's glory lifted from the ark, hovered at the temple threshold, then rose over the Mount of Olives and left. The structure remained standing. No dramatic collapse. God simply withdrew. Nearly 570 years later, another figure rode over that same mountain into the city. He looked at Jerusalem and wept. The God who left returned in person. If this hit home, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more dives into the Bible's hidden history.